here's Brody Brazil.
In your opinion, how would the construction of Howard Terminal kind of take Oakland baseball to the next level and really cultivate it in the city?
As I said before, like, the team has always had its identity. They're scrappy, they're fighters. And you know what? This has been a team that has gone through so many iterations of young players, and that's a separate topic. Like, they've recycled a few times, but the one commonality is, like, they're successful. Like, and they go through some rough years, like maybe we're starting to see for the next few, but you watch, they will reemerge again. So let me make sure that's understood. But the one thing they've never had to go with successful teams is, like, the real true environment. And by that, like I told you before, yeah, when there's a playoff game and the Coliseum is packed, there's nothing like it. But what about the other 81 regular season games every season, and the environment before and after games, and the camaraderie among the fan base, and the true experience? Yeah, tailgating is great. Don't get me wrong. But at the same respect, to get something that so many other major league teams have in terms of their before, during, and after game experience, if you get all that to go along with the product that usually is on the field, the winning team, that's what A's fans haven't had really ever in their existence in Oakland, because they've only played here. And even when the Coliseum was new, well, first off, I can't speak to experience, but I don't think it was like the world class, gotta go see it type place. So I think that's what Howard Terminal would bring, kind of that missing component of the experience. Let me also say that I think Howard Terminal would bring in the casual fan like never seen before in Oakland. It took them having to be in World Series 3 straight years to get those casual fans out in 88, 89, 90, 91, 92. And, Mark McGwire was still there, Jose was still there, but that's what it took to draw casual fans. Howard Terminal in itself is a draw to people who are like, oh, well, I do like baseball, and I kind of like the A's, but I really want to see what everybody's talking about here in this new ballpark experience. It's really cool, I heard. I got to go. So that's something that they've never had.
Definitely. So why do you think the A's, and you touched on, the kind of how Howard Terminal would sort of bring in the casual fans, because, it's Howard Terminal, it's going to be on the wall and everything. But why do you think the A's, I guess, over the past decade or so, there's been multiple different sites. There's been Peralta, there's been the Coliseum, there's been plenty of different things. But why do you think sort of they've been so persistent in building on the water opposed to the Coliseum site?
You're asking why have the A's at some point turned away from the Coliseum site?
Yeah.
So I think the Alameda County Superior Court Judge Brad Seligman, in his recent I guess it was ultimate statement about the EIR and the Coliseum alternative, to your point, why not build something new at the Coliseum? He said it more perfect than I could, or I've heard anybody else say it. And it was to the extent that this site has already proven that nothing else around it is going to be developed. It's not the starter that is going to grow a neighborhood, a new region. And that would be the case, right? With just north of Jack London Square and Howard Terminal and how it connects to downtown. You can see, similar to what has happened at Pac Bell / SBC / AT&T / Oracle Park. Like, you've seen how South Market area has just exploded in a positive way, and it has revitalized that area and the city of San Francisco. They don't see that as being possible at the Coliseum. Now, let's just turn to the A's perspective. I mean, as I mentioned before, you need something comparable to what the competition has in this market. And not to make this an A's Giants thing, it's not about that. But if you are the casual fan right now, and I entice you with a photo of what it's like to go to a Giants game and just the photo of the Coliseum, more people probably going to say, I would like to, see the sights, walk around the Embarcadero, da-da-da. And so the A's need something comparable to that. Not to mention, they're also trying to start a new chapter of, their history, their legacy. And I'll be honest, I think the opportunity to do two things here: to develop 3,000 new housing units at Howard Terminal, but also to unlock the Coliseum site. Like, that is still such a valuable piece of land. When you say, why wouldn't the A's consider building there? Like, that is where it's at, right next to the freeway, BART station. I agree. Those are all things that are great for a new community of residential, commercial, potentially educational. Like, there's a lot of opportunity. I don't think they're going to tear down the arena because it's new enough to keep Anyway, long story short, there's so much opportunity for a lot of other things besides a complex that's only going to get used 81 times a year. You could use that place 365 days a year. So it is valuable, in my opinion, and in the A's opinion, just not for the baseball site. And again, you open Howard Terminal, you get that, you get all the perks of that, and then you get the Coliseum site unlocked to do something else. So I think it's a multitude of things. Really hard to narrow down that one reason, but there's so many reasons that, and I fully agree, it's got to be Howard Terminal for your next site. Otherwise, yeah, you rebuild at the Coliseum, you're going to have to lift that whole site up 4 to 6 feet for sea level mitigation. You can't build underground like you previously did. The Coliseum playing surface 22 feet below sea level right now. So it has to totally be reimagined. And guess what? We would be having the conversation 20 years from now. Well, are the A's going to move because they built a crummy stadium that just didn't work? It was a temporary fix, and here we are again. They want to solve the problem for good.